My brothers, my sisters, it is your man, the Duke, host of the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to www.strictlyfortheculture.ca. Strictly for the Culture is one of the hottest brands in sports and entertainment today. Come on, you've seen the t-shirts, you've seen the hoodies on folks like Rodney Mack, the Reverend Ron Hunt, Jeremy Prophet, MLW World Champion Alex Kane, Mr. PWI 500, Jay Bougie, even your man, the Duke, and a lot of other podcasters and influencers. So I'll say it once again, www.strictlyfortheculture.ca. Do it for the love, do it for the respect, do it for the honor, but most of all, do it strictly for the culture.
Hey, you got Lloyd Anoa'i here, the Anoa'i Wrestling Family, also known as the Loafer and LA Smooth. And right now, you are listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Brothers and sisters, you can catch Lloyd Anoa'i, a.k.a. LA Smooth, live at the New England Fan Fest. That is Saturday, February 17th at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Warwick, Rhode Island. Check out allaccessentertainment.com for more information or visit New England Fan Fest on Facebook. That's right.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Brothers and sisters, on this first episode of Duke Loves Rasslin podcast in 2024, I have a treat for you. Our guest is one of the flag bearers of the world-renowned Anoa'i family. This man is not only a pro wrestler, he's also a trainer. He's also an actor. He's also a husband, a father. He's also a pillar in the community, brothers and sisters. He's also Samoan. Most importantly, he is the son of the legend, Afa. So without further ado, Happy New Year and welcome to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. I know him as LA Smooth, but he is Lloyd Anoa'i. How are you, my brother?
Hey, brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me on your show. First of all, the first one of 2024. That's a blessing right there. And thank you for everybody that's going to be hearing this. And, we're just going to put it in there and see what we can come up with, brother.
You got that right. You got that right. Listen, it's really special to have you on the show because we're living in an interesting time. And I mean, I just turned 41 years old back in December. So I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Been a wrestling fan my entire life. So I grew up watching your family, your father, your uncle, the whole crew here. And it's crazy that in 2024, 41 years from the first time that I saw the Wild Samoans. Here we have your nephews, your cousins, your whomever in the bloodline, but even beyond that, all over the wrestling landscape, including in WXW, continuing to make the Anoa'i family the strongest dynasty in the history of pro wrestling. Talk to me about that, man. I mean, how does it feel all these years later to know that the family name is stronger than it's ever been?
Brother Duke, it's truly a blessing, man. First of all, I got to thank Father God up above for, giving us life and putting us where we are right now. And second of all, I have to thank my dad and my uncle, Afa and Sika, which created all of us in the wrestling industry right now. From my older brother, Samu, which was one of the first ones, as well as Tonga Kid. They were actually the first ones as second generation wrestlers that started in the business. And then after that came Yokozuna, Kishi, myself, And then the list goes on. And now we're into third generation, which is such a blessing because not only does everybody know this, but we are truly the biggest, and I mean the biggest family in pro wrestling right now. I think we're up to maybe 16 right now, and that's including ones that are not with us. But I mean, just it's a blessing, man, and it's great to be, in the wrestling business first of all, and what my dad and my uncle paid, not just pay the road, not just for us, but for so many people in the wrestling industry. The people we trained, from Billy Kidman to Gene Snitsky to the twins, which are doing great right now. Lindsay and her sister. I mean, and then we go to Dave Bautista. I work personal one-on-one with Dave Bautista, and then the list goes on. I'm talking about even before that. I mean, my dad had had helped Hulk Hogan in the business, Junkyard Dog, Paul Orndorff. Man, it's just so many, and we're definitely all a blessing, to be part of that.
Well, certainly, man, and I just listening to you speak, the way that you honor your family. A lot of people would want to talk me, and certainly this is a conversation with you about you. So the fact that you are taking the time to make sure that you pay homage to those that came before you, it says a lot about who you are, and that's consistent with what I hear about you. Everyone that I know that that knows you, they all talk about the fact that you're a brother that preaches respect because you lead with respect, and you're able to pass that down to others, which is such an important thing there. Talk to me about growing up, though. I mean, at what point did you realize you were part of something special with your family, and really that you folks were unlike most other kids in the neighborhood, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I mean, at a younger age, I lived with my mom. My dad was on the road, and but I lived with my mom most of the time. And then when I moved with my dad, it was something that I loved watching him and my uncle on TV. But it was something that I didn't know if I wanted to get in the wrestling business, because I also had a uncle on my mom's side that was a police officer, and I got into where I wanted to become a police officer, when I was young. So then after, being around, and my dad training the guys at a younger, I was young then. I was 12, 13. And then finally, I just started getting more into it. And by 15, I was actually help training my dad's students and, getting in the business. And it's been something that has been going on, for almost 30, well, actually it's 36 years, going on 37 years. I've been in the wrestling business. I started at age 15, but in ring, I started in 1987, and it's been quite a journey right now. And it's just, a blessing. Like I said, I keep saying a blessing because it is, because, God has given us so many opportunities. And the thing I like to tell people a lot is I think wrestling saves a lot of people's lives. Because I could have been at a young age, I could have been out there in the street, hanging out, getting in trouble. But, wrestling kept me to where I focused on, wanting to be in the ring, getting myself in shape. My dad always beat me in the head about going to the gym, because I was big and heavy back when I was younger, but he pushed me to get in the gym and, and get my craft and lift the weights and everything. And then after that, I just started, full time in wrestling. And, I remember that day very clearly when in 1992, where my dad and my uncle, well, actually my dad and my brother, and they all went back to WWF at that time. And they signed as the Head Shrinkers. And I was there with them all the way. And I'll never forget, my dad looked at Chief Jay Strongbow, God rest his soul, and, he was in charge at that time. And he said, hey, give my other boy a shot, man. And Chief looked at him and he said, man, all your damn kids go work. He goes, all right, let me see what I can do. And they put me out there, and I did some TV tapings. And after that, him and Sergeant Slaughter loved me working, and they put me on the road. And at that age, I was not even on contract. I was actually just on the road almost like, I want to say almost like full time. I was out there working shows. I'll never forget. I worked first when they first went to the Manhattan Center when they first started Raw. I worked at a building, which that was an honor right there as well. So I've done quite a bit, and I just am really blessed, and that I have the opportunity to not only show my talent from what I was taught by my dad and my uncle, but just to go out there and perform for the people and do what I do best, and have people respect me at the same time.
Talk to me about when you stepped foot in ECW, because, unlike WWF at the time, where your dad and your uncle, they paved the way in there, and everybody understands that, this is a serious family, and they're not going to put out anyone in the family who's not ready, so to speak. But you go to ECW and you talk about shark-infested waters. I mean, young, hungry, willing to do anything and everything they can to stand out, because they're not on the level of WWF. Yet there you were, this guy coming from this huge mega family already. How did that go?
Working for Paul Heyman, it was great. ECW was a different level. You had to be on a different level of work in that company, because what Paul did, and when I was younger, actually, I worked for ECW before Paul took over. So I am an original ECW. I'm talking when Todd Gordon had it. I was his top heel back then. But when Paul took over, he took it to a different level, which he took it where it says extreme. That's where he took it. And ECW blew up. And when we got the phone call, I believe my brother and my cousin Matt, that's actually when we just finished, because we re-signed, me and Rosie, before it was Rosie, we signed with WWE at that time. And then we did 2.5 years, I think it was. And then after that, we went into ECW. So it was him and my brother first, and then I came in as the third one. And we did our debut in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's where we used to live. And we did a little program with the Dudleys. And it was great. And then from there, we just started working with the Dudleys, working with Perry Saturn, his partner. And then we were married basically to the Gangstas, which they were awesome to work with. But you definitely got to be a different brand to work for ECW.
Man, you just listening to you tell that history right there brought back so many fond memories, because, again, I'm a kid of the early 80s. So I not only did I grow up with the Wild Samoans, I grew up with the Samoan SWAT team.
Yes, sir.
Especially, when they were running wild down in Dallas, Texas, because you had World-Class Championship Wrestling. They were on TV on ESPN. So we could get that every afternoon, what have you. And also, UWF, we got to see that on Sports Channel here in Boston. So I got to watch the SST. Now, fast forward, you guys were the Samoan Gangster Party, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The modern version of the Samoan SWAT team. And you guys were hip. You were of the times as well, which made it really, really cool. So like you said, that feud, not only with the Dudleys and Perry Saturn and John Cronus, but the Gangstas, the feud with the Gangstas, bro, that was some of the best stuff of the time period in terms of, tag team wrestling, right?
It was. It was great, man, especially working with those guys, because let's put it this way. The Gangstas, they were like the top. I mean, there was a lot of tag teams there, but the Gangstas were like on the top of the totem pole right there. They were the ones that you wanted to work with, besides the Dudleys. But they were awesome to work with. I'll never forget when we worked against them one day. I believe we were in Reading, PA, and I forget who threw the garbage can in, but the garbage can came in, and just as he threw it over, my cousin Matt turned around and hit him dead in the head, and they got the biggest pop. And then they came in, and that's how we always start our matches. Start off hot, right from the beginning, fighting, and it was crazy, man. And I'll never forget. We started fighting, and it was me and New Jack, and he took a porcelain lamp. God rest his soul. And he took it off. It flew out of the garbage can, and he hit me in the head with it. And this porcelain lamp just shattered all over the place. And he looks at me, and he's like, "Oh, damn!" And next thing you know, I look at him, and I'm like, "All right, payback." And I'll never forget. Towards the end of the match, we went outside, and he hit me with a forearm. And I hit him so hard with a forearm in back, and I actually hit him so hard, and he went through a wall, through the wall, fell through it, and then people going crazy. EC Dub, EC Dub, and next thing you know, I'm sitting there and I'm playing the crowd, and he's still in there. Next thing you know, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna wait for him to come out. I walked through it, and made the hole bigger, and then half of the wall went down. And we come out, we start fighting, and next thing you know, we finish the match, and we get in the back, and about 10 minutes later, here comes Paul. Yeah, you damn Samoans and Gangstas, look at this. You went through a damn wall. Now we can't come back to the building no more. So I'm like, oh, man, we got kicked out of the building just for going through the wall. I mean, there's been things worse than that, but that was the last draw in that building, I guess. And I'll never forget it. We got kicked out of that building, and Paul was a little upset, but it went over, and then we continued working in other buildings. But I'll never forget that one. That was something that was not special, but it was something that I always remember because to get Paul hot like that, you don't want to do that.
I love it right there, bro. It's interesting because again, we have a lot of modern fans, a lot of people who have just tuned into pro wrestling within the past, say 10, 15 years. So there's so much that they've missed, unfortunately. And it always boggles my mind when I speak to somebody a little younger or who hasn't been watching wrestling as long. And, we talk about things like that, and they don't even have a point of reference. They don't even know what the hell we're talking about. But it's like, bro, to be forget about watching it on TV, to be live and see a guy hit another guy so hard that he went through a damn wall. That's crazy. Okay. And then you made the hole bigger by walking through the wall. That's even crazier, bro. But that's what you had to do. It was a fight.
You got to do what's necessary, man. A lot of people, they were always scared of this. Oh, we don't want to work with Samoans. They're too stiff. But, we go out there and we work solid. That's the way we were trained. That's the way we work. You go out there and you put it in. If you can't take it, don't be in the business. My dad always said that, and I was always to that, and all of us, you would never get somebody that said that, Samoans messed up. We may mess something up, but we would always make up for it. But I'm glad you said about the new generation. I mean, as WWE went into the new era, I was glad to be part of that when it first started. But nowadays, love the business, love the wrestling, but it's definitely did a complete 360. And what I mean by that is, the way the wrestling is right now, you got all these guys going out there, and a lot of them are getting hurt more than they did years ago because they're out there doing all this high flying and stuff. I know they want to get a good pop out of the crowd, but I mean, a lot of that stuff is unnecessary. And I know I wouldn't do it. I mean, I've done some crazy stuff in my career, on the matches, but there's a lot of that stuff that, there's no storytelling anymore. There's no psychology. There's very little of it. And that's something that I got pounded in the head, and we all did, from my dad and my uncle, especially my dad, psychology of the wrestling business. Because believe it or not, 85 to 90% of the business is psychology. So, you got to go out there and know how to, put a match on and make sure the people understand and follow it. If you can't do that, they'll get lost, even though nowadays they don't care because they just want to see somebody dive off the top rope or, something like that. And I'm not a fan of it. I know they got to do what they got to do, but me, I'm more into making sure, well, if you're going to jump off the top rope, makes sense. Why are you jumping off the top rope? You follow me? And I'm just, it's got to be logic. And that's something that I pound in a lot of people's heads, students and a lot of other people that have been in the business. And, I don't try to tell them what to do, but I try to help them out in that way to make their matches a lot better. And, I've been, work talking and with WWE and try to go back as a producer. And, that's something that I would love to do, to give my knowledge to some of the talent that's there now, which, they're big stars right now, but, they don't have the years that I have. And, to know what I know from years ago and now, I would love to just put a little twist in some of those matches to make it make sense and get the people more interested in what they are right now.
I'm just completely on the same page with you. And it's funny because we have a lot of the younger indie wrestlers on the show, in addition to legends and folks who, time may have forgotten, and we bring them on here to remind people, hey, we're here today because these folks paved the way. We get a lot of kids fresh out of wrestling school or just a couple of years in the business. And I had one in particular that said to me, Duke, I have to do a dive in order to get a reaction from the crowd. And I remember saying to them, listen, if you feel like you have to do a dive in order to get a reaction, then you need to go back to wrestling school, because there's nothing better than a heel eye gouging or choking or a thumb to the throat or something like that behind the referee's back. There's nothing better than a heel doing something so dastardly behind the referee's back, and then having that little snarl on their face like they just got away with something. I said the crowd is going to react to you doing something that simple and, most importantly, that safe, than you doing the 15th dive on the card and damn near breaking your neck, or literally breaking your neck in the process of doing it. So I'm glad that a guy like yourself, with the training that you had and the training that you provide to others who have gone on and are making money in the business, I'm glad that you just said what you said there, because 110% as a fan, I don't want to see a bunch of flippy dippy peanut butter skippy. I would much rather see the stuff that you and those that came before you and those that you've trained do. That's my pro wrestling. That's my wrestling right there.
Absolutely. That is called wrestling for sure. And, it's just like you said, a heel, eye gouge, this and that. But a great baby face. And, I tell a lot of guys, I said, just as an example, I said, the best person I can tell you to watch right now that everybody is familiar with, that would be in this era or a little bit earlier in our era, is Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels would sell. You could take him and slam him or do something, and he would sell it and made the people believe in what he was doing. And that's what a good baby face is, and I try to tell these guys and say, a lot of them, they go over there and they take a punch, and next thing you know, they're turning around and they're Superman. Okay, you can be that way, but in order to paint that story to the people and have that little sympathy, there's no sympathy in selling no more. Unless you're in a big angle and then the people see it and they're into it. Like, I love the one that they did with Rey Mysterio and his son. I love that. And of course, the whole thing with our family, that to me was 100%. I haven't seen a storyline like that in a long time. And that's what they need. They need to bring those storylines back. So the people, and you see how 2023 was a big year for WWE, because that storyline and other storylines they're bringing in little by little, they're somebody back there, whoever's doing this, which, I know for a fact, I know a lot of them are old timers there, but, and all the work that my cousins and my nephews put in, they put that all together. And I mean, it's just exploded. And that's something that, you want to do and create for the people so they keep coming out. And right now, like I said, 2023 was crazy for WWE. And I'm just excited to see what 2024's got coming and what they got planned. But then again, like I said, those guys, some of them need some help, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you straight like it is. A lot of them need some help because, they wonder why they're not getting over as much, is because look what you're doing. I mean, you got to make yourself. You got to do something to get yourself over. And sometimes you got to sit back and reevaluate everything and say, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Even though the office puts the brakes on you, but what you can do out there as you and your craft and also your charisma, and charisma has a lot to do with it. If you can get that down, you don't have to do much to get over with the people. As long as they see that charisma and what you're doing, I mean, you can get yourself over.
Well said. Well said. And you're absolutely right. And what's interesting is that there's no easy way out of it. You got to actually do the things that have worked in wrestling throughout history. In a lot of ways, it's a very basic formula. Good versus evil, bad versus good. Somebody has to sell and work from behind. Somebody has to look like that they're the most unstoppable thing. And then at the right time, good prevails. It's simple storytelling. It's simple storytelling, right? And as we see, even in, like you said, when you brought up your cousins in the bloodline, that whole family feud thing. And now we're transitioning into another dimension of that, because The Rock just said something about sitting at the head of the table. And we know Roman is the head of the table. So now we got a whole nother year of people being just completely glued to the TV, wondering what's going to happen in this family feud and who are we going to back on that, right?
Yes.
Basic storytelling.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah. And when it works, it's something that we can relate to. And that's so beautiful. Tell me something, Smoth. It's not always the easiest to follow. In fact, I had to go online and look at the family tree in order to understand how everyone is connected. And I know it might take you forever to go through the whole joint there, but as briefly as you can, for those that people are the most familiar with today. So we got the Usos and Roman and even, Tamina and Nia and these folks. Who are they to you in the family tree?
All right. Well, I'll break the whole thing down as quick as I can. Of course, you got High Chief Peter Maivia, and then you got my dad and my uncle. Okay. From my dad, it's just three of us. There's my older brother, Samu, which was one of the head strippers. And then you got myself. And then you have my younger brother, Alpha Jr., which was Manu when he was in Legacy in WWE. Okay, from my uncle Sika, you have Rosie, and which is passed away, and then you got Roman. So those are his two. Now, to break it down, from Rikishi, you have my auntie, which his mom is related to my dad and my uncle, and then it's Rikishi, Tonga Kid, Umaga, and they had another brother that used to wrestle for a little while, but he's not in it anymore. And then under Rikishi, you have the Usos. Then you have Solo, and he's got another son that's actually starting a business, which is Tomiko. So therefore, he's got them all going. And then with Tonga Kid, which is Rikishi's brother, you have Jacob Fatu and Journey Fatu, which is working a lot in California and doing a lot of death matches and all that. And then from my uncle, which is another uncle, you have Yoko. And then I have another uncle, which has, which we have where Reno, the Black Pearl comes in. So, I mean, there's lineage, there's lineage there, and there's, that's from us. And then you have Tamina, which is Jimmy Snuka's daughter. And Jimmy Snuka is related to us through marriage. So that makes her, part of our family. And then you got The Rock, of course, with his grandfather, Peter Maivia. And then you have Nia Jax, which she is part of Uncle Peter Maivia's family. So she is our family. So all that talent right there is all blood, and just there's so many of us, and I got even my nephew from my brother Samu, Lance Anoa'i. So there's quite a bit of them, and I think we're gonna see more and more third generation wrestlers right now. So I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Bro, that is just amazing, and again, legitimately the greatest dynasty in the history of pro wrestling, because what other family has had that many people have such a strong impact on the wrestling industry? I mean, legitimately in all the major promotions, going all the way back to the 70s, to today, and legitimately have worked on top everywhere. They've had gold everywhere. They've been in feuds with the top folks, yourself included. I mean, it's just amazing to hear that family lineage and history there, and understand that there's no stopping it. It's going to continue to grow. You've done something interesting. You took a step back and you decided to dedicate your time to teaching the next generations, not just family, but anyone who wants to learn, and also doing some promoting as well. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about the transition from being a active wrestler who's focused on, getting himself and his opponent over, to really focusing on training others and helping them achieve their goals.
Well, yeah, because all right, let's face it, we're all not going to be in the wrestling business forever, but what we can do and what I love to do is take that knowledge that I know and that I learned, and help these other students that we have, or not even just students, but other people in the wrestling business. Whatever I can do, I would love to help them, because to help them progress in their wrestling future and what they're doing right now. For those that are in the business or those that are just training, it's great to help them now. That way they understand it, because a lot of them, you'll go to a lot of wrestling schools and it'll train you, and then before you know it, you'll have your first match, and then that's it. You're on your own. Now, if you're going to come to us and we're going to train you, we're going to put you out there and give you your first match, but you're always going to be part of the training center or the training school to help you progress and get better and better. And that's something that I cherish and I love to do, is to help other people succeed in the professional wrestling business as they pertain. They got in, they got training and they did all this stuff. So why not help them? Why not help them try to get better to do, their craft in the business and in the ring? Then just let them go and not do nothing, because there's a lot of schools out there that'll do that. You know what I mean? And I'm just speaking straight from the heart. But the schools that we have, Pro Wrestling California, then you got my dad's school, which is not up and going right now, but and then you also got my brother's school, my younger brother, Alpha Junior. He's got BPW out in Pennsylvania, and he's training students. So all that knowledge that we have, we try to give to everybody. But it's something that I love, and it's a passion for me to do that, and that's why I said I look forward to hopefully working one of the back with WWE or even NWA or AEW to show my knowledge as a producer to help them. And that's something that I cherish.
It's interesting that you say that. Certainly in 2024, every promotion could use someone with your understanding of the history of wrestling, not only from growing up in it and seeing it in the family, but also living it at a high level for years. And also, working the indies and navigating that, promoting on the indies, training people. Certainly, you have just about all it takes. You should be somebody working behind the scenes and helping to develop folks in these major promotions, so we do have less people getting injured and taken advantage of and what have you out there. That's a great point. So for all of our listeners who are in the WWE, AEW, Impact, you name it, hey, Lloyd Anoa'i, LA Smooth, he's open for business. So certainly, I want to hear you folks reaching out to this man and make something happen, because you need it. There's no question about it. You definitely need somebody with this type of experience and who's still connected to the current generation, most importantly. We were talking offline about this, but I am very impressed with what you and your family were able to do with Lindsay and Laurie, who go by Miami Sweet Heat in Wild Women of Wrestling, which is legitimately the #2 promotion in North America. A lot of folks don't realize this. WoW is generating millions and millions of dollars with that CBS contract, and they have
Oh yeah.
100% penetration out there on television. So no matter if you just have rabbit ears, you have cable, satellite, streaming, whatever, you can get WoW every single solitary week and follow along easily. So the fact that you folks were able to take these young ladies who had no wrestling experience, they were just athletes as kids and what have you here, and they work in the medical field, they've been on the show, wonderful ladies. You were able to train them up and get them in the right mindset. And now they're former Wild Tag Team champions, probably going to be Tag Team champions again. And that's today. That's now. So if you can do that, just think about what you could do with some of these other kids who are on the cusp of making it to superstardom as well. So I believe in you, brother. I think that's a great call out there, and I hope these other promotions take that seriously.
I appreciate that, man. And I look forward to, hopefully going back to work for one of them, because I still have it in the brain and still, focused on doing that. So, if any of you companies, still waiting on WWE, if it happens, it happens. But hey, I'm wide open to any company, so if they're interested in, bringing me on as a producer or helping these, young talent, I'm 100% game, 110% ready to rock and roll.
I love that. And I also got to mention this because we just saw it, the new movie that came out about the Von Erich family, which
yes,
everyone is talking about. It's gotten rave reviews, and as a kid growing up, I got to see that whole era, and it was just fascinating. It was lovely to watch as a kid because they were the ultimate good guys, the Von Erichs. And certainly, like we said, the Samoan SWAT team, that was a tag team, a trio that would take on the Von Erichs and then transition over to taking on the Freebirds and what have you. And what a time to be alive and seeing that. So it's pretty cool. The Iron Claw is the name of the movie that recently came out. But what's interesting about this movie is that when I hear it and I think about it, it reminds me of a movie that you actually were in some years back by the name of The Wrestler. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about you being part of The Wrestler.
It was great, man. Again, my dad is the one that started that because the producer actually talked to my dad and they needed somebody to train the person for that role. And at first, it was actually Nicolas Cage. My dad started training. And, we were being there, and he was actually the one they wanted for that. But then he pulled out when they asked him to do National Treasure #2. So there went Nicolas Cage, and they were like, who can we get? Who can we get? And all of a sudden, Mickey Rourke came into play. And I think that would have been their best move from the beginning, because Mickey Rourke was awesome to work with. He was humble. People say, he had his skeletons in the closet years ago, but this right here, bring him back to life, because he did a hell of a job, and it was great working with him. And I trained him a couple times, and my dad did all the hard work with him, but we all had a little bit to go in there and help him and train him, and he pulled it off, man. And it was a great storyline. I mean, the movie was great. For people that understand the wrestling business and how it goes, I loved it. And nobody thought it was going to get an award for, just being, I would say it started out as a B movie. If everybody knows what that means, it wasn't an A movie, it was a B movie, but it became an A movie because of the following and the storyline, and people loved it. So, it was great to work on there. And I would love to see if they do, a #2.
Well, hey, if they do a #2, you got to be part of that too, brother.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I am, I'm feeling great right now, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Like I'm recently, I took a couple, I want to say maybe about 3 years. I was still doing signings, but I took about 2.5, 3 years off because I had some medical situations going on with me. I had a renal kidney failure, and I was on dialysis for a while. But with the grace of the good Lord above, I was able to get a kidney transplant March 28th of last year, thanks to my wife, because she was actually my perfect match. And I do have a documentary on YouTube about it, explaining, how, everything went, the procedure and everything. And, I'm just blessed right now to be alive. So like I said, I'm ready to go. I'm feeling great. I got my energy level up, lost a lot of weight, and I'm just blessed, man. And so definitely, any companies out there, I'm good to go.
Wow, that's, man, you're bringing tears to my eyes now, man, because I knew what had happened at the time, but I had totally forgotten through our conversation that you went through that.
Yeah.
My goodness. We almost lost you, brother.
Yeah, it was rough. People, they say, you get on dialysis and this and that, but it was hard. It was super hard. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I could take a lot of pain, but it was really, if it wasn't for my wife and my son, man, that kept me going. They took care of me. My wife actually, quit her job at the hospital to stay home and take care of me, got a home job. And my son, he was doing homeschool, so they were both here for me. And every day, hooked me up to the machine, cleaned my blood out, but it really wore me out. And it was a time where I was ready to give up. And, just the good Lord kept, knocking on top of my head, hey, you ain't going to give up. You got to keep going. And, like I said, with the good Lord and my wife and my son and my family, behind me, I just kept going. And before you know it, the good Lord blessed us again with my wife being actually, there's a difference between somebody give you a kidney and then, have to be the same blood type. But in this predicament, my wife was my perfect match. And what I mean by perfect match, I'm talking about kidney size, blood, tissue. I mean, everything. You couldn't ask for anything more perfect. And even the doctors said they were amazed because 1 out of 100,000 of a husband and wife would be a perfect match like that. So that was a good Lord all the way. And, I praise him and thank him every day of my life for putting my wife in my life and just being alive right now. So, definitely truly blessed. It's an honor to be here on your show to talk to you right now and be able to do things that I'm doing. So I'm 100%, ready to go.
That's deep, man. That's deep. It reminds me of a conversation we had last year with Alan Roulette of River Horse Photography. I'm sure you know Alan.
Yes.
Alan had a health scare last year that started off as a kidney stone, and the stone actually got stuck and cut off circulation, which caused him to be rushed to the hospital and what have you eventually when he got sick enough, and he almost passed away from that. Then he goes home and he gets an even bigger issue. Eventually he found out that he had a heart issue and he almost passed away from that.
Wow.
But he was able to bounce back. And now, through the grace of God, Alan, he's been getting photography jobs left and right. In fact, he's been doing a lot of stuff with the NWA most recently. So you
I believe I saw him at the taping they had in Sarasota.
See, so you know exactly what I'm talking about there. But I bet you didn't know he went through that. Seeing him there,
no, for sure. And I'm glad that you told me that because next time I see him, it'll be even more of a pleasure to see him, knowing that hey, he made it through a big scare and made it through life, and he kept going, and he's still here with us today. And it's truly God's work. It's the same thing with my younger brother. He recently had a heart issue. He was in the hospital and had some heart problems, and right now he's took some time off. He's still running his promotion BPW, but with the grace of God, he's doing well right now. And the doctor actually told him he can go back into the ring and start wrestling. So it's amazing. Not trying to change from wrestling, but to talking about being spiritual, but it's all a blessing from God, for us to be able to be here, going through scares. Everybody's going to go through things in their life where they're going to get sick, or hoping they don't get sick, but things are going to happen. But if you don't keep that faith and continue going, man, the good Lord works. He's there. Prayers work and everything works. So, keep that spirit going and keep that faith with the good Lord because and follow his path because he's the one that's leading us. So I keep my faith always and keep my, whatever happens in life, it comes from him. He's already got the plans. He's already got it written out. So, right now, I just follow that path, and if things are going to happen, they're going to happen. If they don't, then, you got to go to the next step, and that's part of life. And right now I'm at that point where the Lord has got me going and I feel great. So therefore let's go, man. Let's make it happen. I'm blessed. Yeah, I look at life a little different now, or actually a lot different. So, I'm just so thrilled that, I can see 2024 and got a lot of things showing up right now. And I got some shows coming up, got some signings, and supposed to actually be doing a part in a movie. I'm waiting for that to come through. So, there's the blessings right there. It's already started.
I love it. Listen, man, we're putting people in a position now where it's like, well, damn, I want to get up with Lloyd too. So what's the best way that people can get in touch with you and connect with you, not only to follow your journey going forward and share memories, but most importantly, if folks who want to do some business, what's the best way they can reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook. My name, Lloyd Anoa'i. It's going to have Aitanoa, Lloyd Anoa'i. But I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, which is X. I keep saying Twitter, but it's X, under the Great Alofa, Lloyd Anoa'i. And the Great Alofa _ LA Smooth. And also on Instagram as Lloyd Anoa'i. So you can hit me up on all three. You can follow me. If you want to send me a message, you want to chat just in wrestling or in life itself, hey, I'm my ears are open to anything. And I always, love to help anybody if I can, not just in wrestling, but in spiritual and life itself, whatever I can help and help them over that hump, I'm here.
Before I let you go, I got to ask the big question here. Your cousin, The Rock, has laid down what looks like the gauntlet. And we've already seen main event Jay. We see Jimmy and his back and forth. Solo, who's waiting in the wings, so to speak, but he's less than a step away from being the tribal chief his own damn self. In your opinion, LA Smooth, Lloyd Anoa'i, is the tribal chief Roman Reigns, your cousin, is he in trouble?
That's a hard question, man. If it ever happens. I hope that, things work out and let's see, best man wins, they win. This right here is stiff, man. It's hard. That's tough.
Check out Liquid IV. Listen, it's the holiday season, folks, and you and I both know hydration is paramount. Okay, if you want to get through the shopping, if you want to get through visiting the family and friends, the sports and live events, come on. Got to make sure you stay hydrated, and there's no better way that I know of than Liquid IV. Okay, packed with B vitamins and all your other essential vitamins and nutrients there. Tastes great. You just take that hydration stick, you put it in a bottle of water, shake that sucker up, and enjoy. Telling you, shop better hydration today. In fact, if you visit liquidiv.com right now, you'll save 20% on your entire order by using the promo code Duke Loves Rasslin. That's right, Duke Loves Rasslin. No spaces, going to get you 20% off. What are you waiting for? liquidiv.com. Enjoy. And now, let's get on with the show. So next time, be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Take it away, Tony Schiavone.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.